guys, this is the Hawk, and this is the Hawk Podcast. And once again, our guest is the lovely and talented Miss Marti King Young, and she's here today to talk about her new show, who's got a second season now, Will Trent. And we're going to talk about Class of '09, which comes out next month, is it, Marty?
Next May, month? Yep, May 5th.
Her sequel to Wonder Boy, and just so many things that she has going for her. A lot of busyness going on, and possibly a writer's strike, and all the places she's worked, all the studios and stuff, and what we'll have going in the future, and with Miss Young. By the way, how's Craig doing, Mr. Star Wars?
He's doing really, really good. He's a nurse now, so he's
awesome. So he's out.
He was already working in the studio.
So
he's off the ambulance for good. Yeah, he's been off.
He's been what?
Yeah, he's been off of it for a few years working in ER. He's been off of it for the past few years. He's been working in the ER, so he was just like, why should I do the same work and not get the same pay? So he went to school and got the job, so so he could get the same pay, which fair.
Yeah, that's cool though. At least he's not jumping in and out of a truck and carrying people up 3 flights of stairs and carrying them down.
Yeah,
people have no idea how dangerous the job is.
No, they really don't. Or how pain. I mean, what the taxes that it puts on our bodies just to do all of that. It's like you just expect us to all of a sudden be able to bench press 450 pounds and carry you in a chair and down a spiral staircase. It's just what? Can I just lobby out the window and pick you up later and just mend those wounds?
I remember coming up to a house one day, and the front, it was me and Don Ridley.
Oh gosh.
Remember Don Ridley?
Yes.
Me and Don Ridley, and there had to be 7-8 steps out front. And he looked at me and said, when they built this house, they really didn't have us in mind. I said, oh no.
They never do. They never do. Or these houses where it's like you have the open door and then all of a sudden it just takes an immediate turn. And you're like, you get a stretcher in here.
Yeah. Oh man.
So for your viewers who don't know, I work in film and I used to be Jerry's EMT partner, and we worked on the ambulance together.
And hung out at cemeteries at 2 a.m.
Oh yes.
Oh.
So much fun.
That was weird. I mean, think about it. That was pretty weird of us.
Yeah. We're just weird.
Driving through cemeteries, going, do you hear anything? I didn't. Suddenly in the back of your ear, no, I didn't hear anything. What?
Right. And did you remember that after we did that too, that ambulance broke down and they could never get it working again?
Yeah.
After we did that, I was like, we haunted the ambulance. We ruined it.
Didn't you take a picture out the back? And yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and you could see like 3 or 4 faces.
Yes.
Yup.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
I don't either.
I'm terrified. I used to say that I wanted a Tesla until I found out that you could drive into cemeteries and they pick up and they tell you
those videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do it. Nope. Marty
there was a guy who pulled up to his garage, and there was somebody standing. The Tesla had somebody standing in front of him, and he kept shutting the light off, going, "There's nobody there." I kept turning it on, and every time he turned it on, it went from here over here, and then closer to his. Yeah, he ended up pulling out of his driveway and driving around the block. Yeah, that's what I said, man. I couldn't do that. Jeez.
And I don't. Yeah, no. But that would make a great scene in a horror film, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about Will Trent.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, you did your first season.
First season.
They picked you up for a second season.
Yes.
And how long is the season you did? That like 13 episodes or?
This season we did 13. Next season, if there's not a writer's strike, it'll go either for 13, or they can go ahead and give us the back nines, which would give us 22 episodes. Sometimes they wait to see how we do that season before they give us those. But if there is a writer's strike, that's going to totally affect how many episodes we do. When the first writer, or the most recent writer's strike happened, The Office, the previous year, I think they had gotten something like 28 episodes, which was really, really weird. But because of the writer's strike, they only did 6 for that season.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to depend on that. I mean, I hope we can do a lot more, but it is what it is.
How far in advance are the episodes written?
Well, usually like the pilot was already written because that was what got greenlit.
Right.
And while we're filming one, they're writing the next one, or they're prepping the next one. So I'm trying to think of how it. Okay, so like 101 was the pilot. That was already done. Okay, great. We filmed that. We had 102. While we're prepping for 102, they're writing 103. So when we start filming 102, we're prepping 103, and they're writing 104. So it's just like constant. I mean, once we start filming, it's literally like a rocket sled on rails, and you're just hanging on for the ride until we get to a night. It's like Christmas, and we're like, oh my God, thank you for a break. Because it's just constant prep, and it's constant meetings. And
so they don't take like during your hiatus, they don't take the time to write 7 episodes. They
can't. They have to take the time off. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or they're supposed to say that. But when you have a writer's room, you have the showrunner, and they usually put like cards up on the board, and they're like, okay, we want this to happen, and this to happen, and this to happen. And so then they'll be like, let's do this one here. Let's do this one here. And then they'll assign it to one of the writers, and then the writer will do it. And then the showrunner will come in and polish it and make sure everything hits. And then it's got to go through. With streaming, you would be done. But with network, you do you have the draft, and then it gets sent over to the network, and then the network goes, we don't like this, or we like this. And, you can't do that. You can't, do this. So then all of that has to be reworked. So there's a lot of delays because of that sometimes, because I mean, sometimes legal has to get involved to find out if, and then we've got to go through clearances, which are, can we show the Exxon behind us? Do we have to replace the Exxon sign? Can we use this name? People's names in it. We can't use a person's name that's within like a certain mile radius.
Wow,
so
really?
Yeah, because they can't say that we wrote it about them, that person.
I always thought that whenever there was a brand name on a picture or a movie, that was there for a reason. I mean, like
sometimes it is. If this is an ABC show, so they don't do like product integration. I've not seen anything come through like that.
Right.
But like with movies, I know I worked on a movie where Volvo was like, hey, we'll let you use all the Volvos for free if you use Volvos. And we're like, bring them in, so, so whatever helps, they'll do. Or like I was working on one movie, and they said it was a girl going off to college, and so we got contacted by the product integration girl, and she was just like, hey, so Tampax said that if the mom says, did you remember to pack your Tampax, they'll give you an extra $25,000. And I said, oh, that's cool, because moms do that. And so I went and I took it to the producers, and they're like, we're not saying that. We're not no, she can say tampons. And I'm just like, well, first of all, it's not even a line that's in there yet. So you are using their line, but why don't you just, you're going to get an extra $25,000. That's a visual effect. That's, something. That's a day over that you're going to go, and they were like, no, we're not going to do it. So I was just like, okay, I didn't understand it, but it was above my pay grade. So
I always wondered about that, because I know that, was it Happy Gilmore? There was Subway all through that movie, and you just knew that.
Oh yeah,
Subway was giving him some money for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's my favorite product placement scene is in I think it's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes 2. Have you ever seen it?
No.
There's a scene, and George Clooney is there. He's like young George Clooney, right? Long black curly hair. Like, it was like, what is going on? because I didn't even realize that was him. And so he and his friend do this entire scene, and they're literally like, hey, can you pass me a drink? And, and then he like picks up a bag of Doritos, the whole time.
like Wayne's World.
Yes.
All the pizza and all. That's great.
Yeah. It's just so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, I haven't seen anything like that come through. But like I said, they don't pay people to get released for things, I don't think. Right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do, and I'm just missing those memos. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, we have the author of the book series is local to Atlanta. So she wrote it, whereas Atlanta is kind of its own character, where we don't know what's going on, with how Atlanta's going to act today, which is so true. And it's really cool. So I like the fact that we can use like local venues and things like that. But it is hard that how fast we go. We have to our poor locations team, man, they're just out scouting as hard and as fast as they can because we can't get everything they say. There was a shot of Stone Mountain in one of the things, and everybody was like, that is not Stone Mountain. First of all, Stone Mountain is it's just green, and then all of a sudden there's a great big round rock. Like that's it. That is Stone Mountain. And they showed this luscious green mountain, and we were like, what is that? And they hadn't got it cleared in time, our locations, and we were like, okay. So it was weird, just stuff.
It doesn't have that carving on the outside of it, or right? Yeah,
but you can't see that from it was like a drone shot or something. I mean, they could have. I don't know what happened with that, so I don't want to speak.
Right. So how long do you think how long do you think the World Train will be on the tracks there for? I mean, there's a lot of story there, huh?
I think so. Yeah, she wrote a bunch of books, so we've got that going on. And also, everybody has fallen in love with Betty, our little 3-pound Chihuahua, and we call her the Moment. So
the Moment.
That's what we're like, excuse me, it's the Moment. And she comes prissing on, and she's so smart. She's so cute. And Ramon, who plays Will, just adores her. She's just a good little girl. And everybody just, oh my gosh, there's such a following for her. Just for her alone. I think we can go a pretty good, I mean, if they keep the storylines up, and people are happy with them.
Right.
I think we have a pretty good shot, of going more than a few seasons. I think
you get like local writers too, right? I mean, they're all there locally. No?
Nope. The only local writer is the author of the books. And then everybody else is out in LA, which I wish they would come here. I would really love to help.
I remember seeing Don Johnson on getting interviewed during Miami Vice. And he said that for the first 4 seasons that all the stuff was coming from Los Angeles to Miami, all the writers were. And then they said it would cost too much money for that. So the last 2 seasons were all written by local writers down in Miami. And she said that's why they went down the hill. And
wow.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, they had an episode where James Brown was like an alien. And they said it just went down the hill real fast. Yeah. And that's why they decided after they got the writers in Miami, they decided to call it quits because he said the writing really faltered. And I mean, come on, it just started getting stupid,
That's just dumb.
Yeah, like
it sounds to me like they changed showrunners too, because and the showrunner has to be on the set, but if the showrunner has left, I mean, they're the person who is the keeper of the stories, if you want to call it that. Right. So it seems like that they just walked too, and like they just had somebody who did not know, and they're like, it'd be fun, aliens.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that hurts my heart.
Hey, I know you're a big advocate on putting disabled people to work on your sets. Have you done anything like that this one?
I have to, so as a producer's assistant, I have to sort of read the room really well. This is my first time working with this particular group of people. And you sort of have to not only prove your worth, but also for me to be able to have that position of power, I have to be able to step into it with a full backing, knowing that they know who I am and knowing that this is not just a fleeting thought. This is who I am. So I couldn't do anything on this season, but going in next season, I already have the email drafted and ready to go. Be like, hey, this is a thing. Can we do this? And just to see, but I'm definitely, yeah, I have, that's always in the back of my mind and things like that. But this season we were it was a test season, and we all got along and we went through, trauma bonded through the trenches for some things, and which is great.
Right.
And yeah, but this season it'll definitely be more that. And I will give credit too to the showrunners and to the writers too, because if I'm pretty sure if I reached out to them and said, hey, could we do something with like a wounded veteran or something, they would totally do it. So it's but I didn't know them that well this season, you know what I'm saying? Like because the writers will fly out for their episodes. And
I remember last time we talked, you were doing Class of 09, and you had put a bunch of people to work, a bunch of people to work there, disabled people.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We had one girl that I got her on a different show though. She was over on an MGM movie. I got one girl, and she wants to do like catering. So I got her into the craftsies, the craft services. And so she was really excited until they got out of prep and had to start going to the movie sets, and her mom would have to drive her there because some of these calls are like you have to set up at 4:30 a.m. And she was, I don't want to do this. And the mom to her was like, sorry, this is what it's like being in the movies and doing this. You don't get to come in when you want to come in and when you're told. And she was like, I don't like it, but she was so cute. Everybody loved her, I mean, you can't be mean to somebody with Down syndrome. They're always just perfect and sweet and loving and so excited, and so I think that helped their morale on set too. I've only heard good things, so I love it.
You're also involved with autism, right? My daughter, her second child, was just diagnosed on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And she's nonverbal. She does they're teaching her, they're teaching her how to talk, but they taught her before that hand signals.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
I thought that was, and she's just little, but she was doing hand signals to eat and have to go to bed. Yeah, she's absolutely
sign language. Yeah. So it's like sign language for her. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And she's perfect. And
I have go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say my daughter just she's absolutely grasps it, and she's running with it, man. She's just she's got these stickers on her car. She has my granddaughter, she has to wear these headphones.
Yep, noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, she has to wear those headphones, and she's got stickers on her car saying, "Don't run over my daughter," and she started yelling because she's got she had t-shirts and all that. She goes,
good for her.
Oh yeah, she's absolutely just
I have a friend, and she's got 2 nonverbal children, and she's starting to do, and I know this sounds really weird, but she's starting to use the those buttons that you see with the dogs when they want to go outside. She's putting them up on her walls. So when her daughter wants something, or her sons want something, it goes, food, and go up and hit the buttons. So that might be something too. I don't know. Just throwing that out there to you.
That's something, yeah. All right. Back from our commercial. And So anyways, we were talking about product placement, and
Yeah.
you said you don't do that.
Sorry.
Oh, I know what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, go for it.
What? Remember the last time we talked together? We talked about Alec Baldwin and how
Yeah.
preventable that could have been. Now they dropped all the charges against him,
Yeah.
and he's back making his movie.
And it's the same movie.
It's the same movie.
It's the same movie. They
How
just
does
replaced.
that work?
I think you have to have an insensitivity chip, number one. I don't know why they dropped any charges against him. I don't know that much. I know that the armorer still has the charges against her because she was
Wow.
the one who handed over the weapon.
Right.
And it needs to be cleared, and you're not supposed to be using anything like that anyway. So I don't know. But as for completing the movie, I don't even know what to say to that because I would have been like, absolutely not. That's me, you
Well,
know.
doesn't the studio, even if the charges were dropped on it, doesn't the studio have say on whether or not they finish it, or is their money wrapped up in
Well,
it where they have no choice?
it depends on the studio. Like this sounds like it's an independent film to me because I don't hear if anybody like Paramount is doing, you know what I'm saying? There would have been a huge campaign, PR campaign about it.
Right.
I think this is an independent movie, so it's probably for whoever's production company is putting it on. So, they're
He's
like, well,
producing it himself.
okay, then ew, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't know. Unless it was something like his her widower came to him and said, for her, can we please finish it since it was her last work? I
Right.
can see that, but I haven't seen that in anything in the press or anything. So I'm not sure. Like if this was a bigger project and they just scrapped it, they could take it as an insurance loss and make money off of it for scrapping it.
Right.
But I don't I I'm absolutely flabbergasted that they're finishing it, to tell you the truth. I don't understand. I
Yeah.
couldn't have done that.
I just saw it yesterday uh,
Yeah.
online. It just completely blew my mind that they would allow it to, one, that they would drop his charges, and
Yeah.
two, that they would allow it to continue no matter what studio it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they would let that happen. Man, I just well, you know what? Remember that remember that what was it? It was a movie about the Allman Brothers, was it? And that
Uh-huh.
one young lady got met her demise, got hit
Oh,
by a train.
oh yeah, on the train with the
Yeah, they
train.
finished
Sarah.
that movie though, didn't they?
I'm not you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I know that the guy was supposed to go to prison, I think the director or something, and he only did like community service, and now he's back making another movie, and people are absolutely boycotting it and ticked off about it. I'm more interested in because you can, if you know the right people, you can find the money, but I'm more interested in the distribution companies that are saying that this is okay for people to see.
Right.
Um, that's where I would go to. Yeah, I'm really interested to see who picks up Rust, the movie, at this point. I want to see who's going to throw that out there,
Yeah.
unless there's a foreign market and they don't know any better. People do that all the time. That's why there's a lot of movies that people write a lot of movies for Chinese audiences for that alone because there's a lot of money in that over there. But I don't like it. I didn't have anything to do with that show or that. I know one of the guys who was on it, but I haven't talked to him since before he even got that gig. So I mean, I don't know. I can't. I'm definitely not a legal expert on it by any means. But yeah, it's really weird. I wouldn't have finished. It's
Yeah.
just strange.
He must have put a lot of money into it to want to finish it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyways,
something. There's just we don't know.
yeah. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about, remember John Landis, Twilight Zone, the movie.
Mhm.
Remember the three people that got yeah, and
Yeah, a helicopter. Yeah.
yeah, and they took him to court, and he actually didn't get charged with anything, even though it was kind of his fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let him go on it, and yet he went on to direct other movies and became a really pretty famous guy.
I hear that Spielberg refused to work with him after that too.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
I don't know. I don't know either one of them. So, it's the whispers on the street.
It was really funny you should mention that, because I was in the next stall when Spielberg, hey, look at product money's
It's not paid for by just kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I was in the next stall when Spielberg was talking to saying, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. But
Silly.
anyway, so you won awards for your screenwriting, directing, producing. Greg, what's you have a you've written a TV show, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. And that's coming up down the road though a little bit, right?
Yeah, it was it originally got picked up by PureFlix, a Sony faith-based streamer. And we were going to film it in Nashville, and everything was going great. And then it was a regime change. Whenever they do that, everything gets all discombobulated and things get cut and sent to the side. And we were still going forward with mine, but no one would give me a contract. So I was like, I'll y'all figure this out, and I'm going to come over here. And so I pulled it, and which was, gut-wrenching and horrifying all at the same time, but there were more than one reason for me to do that. So I've sat down, I've reworked it a little bit, and I actually got somebody asked for it the other day for another streamer service, so I sent that out actually the day before yesterday. So yeah, so hopefully it'll be a little bit more of the original vision instead of having to change it down, because it's faith-based stuff. Like for some reason, they like more saccharine fantasy world rather than real. And I write real. And so, yeah, I had to tone down the treatment when I sent it over there. The treatment is like an essay about it, almost, like a short story about it.
Right.
And it's a pitch at the same time. And so you want your opening line to grab, so they keep reading, right? So my opening line, because I asked the producers, I was like, do you want it gritty or do you want it, super sweet? And they said, oh no, we're looking for gritty. So the first line said, EMS stands for extramarital sex. And I got the phone call, Marty, no, it can't say this. And you're going for faith-based programming. You're going to have to tone it down. And I was like, okay, so your version of gritty is different than my version of gritty. Got it. Yeah. So that being said, I sort of reverted a little bit. I'm being able to not fix it, but go back to the way the original thought of it was. Not that everybody's like banging in the buses or anything, but I mean, it was just like, you see, you walk outside and you see the ambulance rocking, you're not going to go over to that ambulance. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not that we saw that in the ambulance graveyard at all at Pride Care, ever. God. Good days.
Oh yeah, those are fun. I couldn't see myself doing it right now, though. I'll tell you. I just, oh man, I farted the other day, threw my back up. But anyways, yeah, I'm getting old. But
boom.
Yeah. So when do you think it might come to life? Your TV show?
I don't know. I mean, it's got something to it, because that's the second bite I've had on it, and I've been working on other stuff as well. So it just depends. I mean, it depends on the streamer. It depends, where it is in their lineup. It could, they could walk up and go, oh my gosh, we have to start filming this. And all of a sudden we're in pre-production and we're filming, in July. I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully I'd really like to get through the second season of Will Trent and then have something to do for it. Cause I just love the people and the crew and everybody on that. They're just wonderful. And I just don't want to leave them high and dry,
Absolutely.
However, if you get to run the show, I'm going to be like, love y'all. I'll come visit, So there's that. I've also written a pilot for a book called Zeus is Dead, which is the series. I want to get something underneath me so I can go in there. Cause I really would like to show run that one. I don't have to write all the episodes, but that one is based off of a book. And because of that, I'm just very, very protective of writers because we've had so much stuff stolen from us and we're just disrespected. That's another reason why there's a strike coming up. People think that, y'all don't really do anything. Well, you wouldn't have the stories if it wasn't for us. So hello, so there's that. So I just want to make sure that the vision of the original author is taken care of with that. And then I'm also right now currently breaking down a book opening Edward Aubrey with the author Edward. He's great, and I'm going to develop that into a 10-part limited series for either streaming or I think it would be streaming, and then go from there. We're going to package it a very different way than what usually when you go into meetings or whatever, you go in with a treatment, a pitch deck, which is like all the visuals, and then you have a pilot to give to them. And what we want to do is we want to write all 10 of the episodes and have the pitch deck and just walk in and go, here you go, buy it. See ya. Wow. Everything's written.
Yeah.
There's nothing for you to do other than sit and do it. And then, have them go over that. So it'll, that's what we're looking at doing with that one. But that's pretty much it.
So how many screenplays do you think you've written?
Oh gosh. I mean, there's got to be well over 25, I think. Some of them are good and some of them are like, what was I doing? Well, the first screenplay I ever wrote, I didn't know anything about it. I just knew I had to write a screenplay.
Right.
And so I didn't even know how to format it, like a complete freaking green noob. And I think it was like 240 pages. And they're supposed to be like anywhere between 99 to 110. And I was just like, this is awful. And I go back and I looked at it and I was just like, oh my God, the plot is terrible. I didn't know what I was doing, but that's how you learn. That's how you learn. But I don't count that one as one of those 25 or so.
I was watching an interview with Dan Aykroyd. He said the first draft of Ghostbusters was like 4.5 hours long.
Oh my gosh. I believe it. I believe it. Because you have to get everything out. You have to get everything out of you so you can see it. And then you can say, this isn't even needed, or this isn't even needed. But that's a great line. We'll put that over here. It's completely putting together a puzzle. That's all it is.
Yeah, he was saying there was like, and Ivan Reitman said, "What is this?" he said he was going, "This is the next movie." He said, "This is the next movie," and he said 4.5 hours long, and then he said, "Yeah, we got to break that down."
Yeah, but and Eddie Murphy turned it down. Eddie Murphy was supposed to play Winston, I think.
Yeah, he was. Winston's End, where he was supposed to have a larger role than.
I wish he would have kept it, but I mean, it is what it is.
Correct. I guess he had a choice of doing that or Beverly Hills Cop, right?
Yeah, I would have chosen Beverly Hills Cop. Come on, you didn't have to share a screen.
So, he wasn't the first one for Beverly Hills Cop, right?
He was what? I'm sorry.
He wasn't the first choice for Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, who was the first choice?
Sylvester Stallone. Yes. They gave Sylvester Stallone the script, and he wanted to rewrite it and not be so funny, not be so comical. And he wanted to change Axel Foley's name to Cobretti so he could call himself Cobra.
Cobra, okay.
And the producer said that he was really nice about it when they told him maybe you're just not right for this. They said he could have held up
Yeah.
filming for a long time, saying, "Well, you know what I mean?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he said he didn't. He said, "Oh, well, yeah, go ahead." And he went off and wrote Cobra right
Did he
after.
write? I didn't realize he wrote Cobra.
Yeah,
Okay.
and called him Cobretti, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
funny.
so yeah, Eddie Murphy wasn't the first choice, but he had the choice of being Zedmore or Axel Foley, and
That's
I think he made the right choice.
I do too. I think he knows that too.
So I read somewhere that you were teaching a master class.
I am.
You
I
are.
am. I'm teaching a master class at a writer's retreat in Greece. I'm so excited.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. In June. I'm going in June. Yeah. It'll be a week there. It's and it's on, of all places, in Greece too. It's on the Isle of Patmos, which is where, if you're in the if you're of the Christian belief that St. John wrote Revelations, that's where he wrote the book of Revelations. And so it's right there. And it was so odd that came up while I was going through all of this with Lifeline. That's the one that didn't make it through PureFlix. And
Right.
I was like, that's really interesting to me, but I'm really excited. It seems to be that all of the my students are all powerhouse women, which are amazing, and they're very good, and they're already working in the industry. And so
Wow.
I'm looking forward to it. Like, I think you're going to teach me as much as I teach you, hopefully, and we walk away with a bunch of really good friends. But
Right.
we're going to yeah, I leave in on Keegan's birthday, last day of May, and then I'll be back on June 21st. So we're going
Holy
to,
cow! You spent a whole month over there.
well, I'm spending 9 days in Greece, and then
Yeah.
after that, we were Craig and I were like, hey, since we're there, let's just pop over to Paris. So we're doing that for a few days, and then we're going over to London, and then we're gonna take or we're taking the Channel to London, and then from London we're gonna take a train into Scotland and come back and spend a little bit more time in London, and then fly home. So it's just gonna be like a little fun trip. I teased him that we should try to get into Ireland, at least just to hop the border and drink at a pub, but he won't do it.
And
Just
when you get to London, you see if you ever see King Charles there, tell him the Hawk said hi. You'll know why.
okay, I will. I will. Say hi, yeah. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I know that Craig wants to go see the Beefeaters, so I'll tell them that you say hi too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that. We're taking scripts and breaking them down and talking about emotional core and character. There's a lot of things where, and it when you see it in a movie, where the third act just sags so much. It's that part where it's like, this is boring. They didn't even need to film this scene. Or if you can get up and go to the bathroom and not be like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Part, that's the problem. And I know how to alleviate that, or work around that in other people's stuff. In my own stuff, I have to go to friends and go, is this okay? It's like the forest for the trees, when you're writing it yourself.
Right.
But yeah, so working on dialogue, working on scene beats and everything like that. But I'm excited. It'll be nice.
Where do you get your feedback from when you're writing? Where do you? I mean, who do you bounce it off of as far as your?
Sometimes I will. Sometimes I'll send it out to friends of mine that are not in the industry at all, because they don't know to look for certain things. I just want, if they can follow the story.
Right.
And I'll send it about to 3 different people. And if I get the same note from 2 to 3 people, sometimes it's 5, then I know that that's a problem, because if they're all saying, I don't understand why the owls swooped down at this section, why did they steal the berries or whatever, and I'm like,
right.
oh, so that setup was in act 1 and I totally didn't set it up right. So it'll just tell me things like that. Every once in a while I will use a script doctor like Danny Manis, who is amazing. And like, I just sent him a thriller script of mine, and I said, I've been working on this forever. I just feel like it's jello. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad or whatever. And he got back with me and he goes, Yeah, it's pretty much crap right now. And I'm like, okay.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, no. But he sat there and he like was like, what are you trying to say? And I'm like, I originally started out like this. And he goes, okay, because I did see that, so he helps me find, because sometimes you can just go off on these rabbit trails and you don't know what's good for the story. Like on that particular story, I was following this one girl around and then I jumped over to this detective and I'm like, is that wrong to do at this point? And he's just like, well, he made me see that she really wasn't doing anything and things were happening to her. So you're not going to really be rooting for her. So I was just like, all right, I'm going to scrap it and I'll come back to that later, which was great because it's better than sending it out, for people to sit there and go, this sucks. Who is this writer? Why is she teaching at screenwriting retreats? This didn't make any sense. And then there's also Will Akers at Key to Storytelling. I'll go to him. He's very, very good and insightful too. He's really good with technical things and finding the core of like he's really good about finding motives and things like that. And then my other mentor is Jacob Kruger, and he's really good about finding the emotional core to the story. And he's got like free classes on Thursday nights at writeyourscreenplay.com. And I go to that, and he's really, really good because like the first writers retreat I ever went to was his, and we were in Costa Rica, and his was hurt writers will write hurt people. And you have to figure out why, if you're bumping up against something or something's not working, that's something in your own psyche. Why is that happening? Why are you saying that this person? So get curious rather than sit there and stare at the screen and just try to figure it out. He's like, get curious about yourself. Why is this? And once you figure that out, oh, this is because when I was 8 years old, my dad pointed at a piece of grass in a crack in front of a TG and Y and said, the difference between you and this grass is that this grass tries. And you're like, oh, that's where that stemmed from. Okay. And then all of a sudden you get a more 3D person. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully people will get a lot out of it on this retreat. I hope I make good friends. And everything's an adventure. I just go where the Lord leads me.
So where do you see, two questions for you. Where do you see the future of movies going? I mean, there's there's a certain period of time, I know in the 70s, where every movie that came out was a horror movie. And then during the 80s, there was like a lot of comedy and yet equal amount of rom-coms, romantic comedies.
Yeah.
Like that. Now where are we going? I mean, now it seems like
right now we're in the era of the superhero. I think a lot of superheroes going on right now. I think there's going to be it's so weird because I think there's going to be a swing back. I don't think we're going to have comedies, but I don't think it's going to be like an era of comedies right now because we have such easily offended and woke people right now. And they're going to be making I think there's going to be a lot of political things.
Yeah.
A lot of statement movies, which I don't have a dog in any of those hunts because my focus is to give messages of hope and for you to forget about your life for a while because life's hard enough without being reminded for 2.5 hours about crap that's going on or, horrible things.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not dissing people who have message movies because they are needed and they're very powerful and they're good and they're very good filmmakers, the people who do them. It's just for me, what my calling is to offer a message of hope and say, hey, what? It might crap right now, but everything's going to get better. So all of my stories, everything that I wrote always has an underdog that's going to overcome some odd or, things like that, or someone who's going to be validated in some way. That's really the undertone of what I do. But as for climate, I think we're going, I guess the political movies, we're already seeing, I think everyone is so tired of the pandemic. Hopefully we will shy away from pandemic movies, where it's an outbreak of this. I'm sick of hearing about outbreaks. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. The moment that everything shut down, I was like, oh, here we go. And sure enough, the next year and the year after that, there were even special categories in film festivals that were just pandemic related. And people were like, I don't know why people aren't going to go see this. We're hearing about the pandemic. We're sick of it. Yeah. So I think that's where a lot of it's going to go. We're still going to have our superhero movies because, Disney owns Marvel and they're going to milk that cow and then they're going to beat it like a dead horse.
You got Marvel and Star Wars and
yeah.
It's I don't see
the fantasy of all.
I just don't see people doing any good with it.
Yeah. And I think that until we have people who are not afraid to try new things, I think we're just going to get nothing but remakes and rehashes again. And I think that's unfortunate too, because you have generations of people who have good content. It's just that people are so scared. They won't make any,
they're afraid to offend somebody.
They're afraid to offend somebody, steer away from what people have already seen, but it's what they're not getting back. That's what people want, though. They want something they haven't seen before. That's why Everything Everywhere All at Once did so well. Nobody had seen that before. That's why The Matrix was so groundbreaking. Nobody had seen that before.
Right.
And so you just have, I just wish that they would open it up for more,
Have you noticed that more of a nostalgic kind of thing going on? I mean, like Top Gun Maverick, it made over $1 billion. Okay. People just couldn't wait to see it again, to go back in time. You know what I mean? I mean, it was a simpler time. You could hitchhike across the country without getting hurt. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then the Ghostbusters had the afterlife, right? The ending of it all. And what else did you have? Oh man, there's been a bunch of them. I can't. Like I said, Matrix came back. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now they're like in their 50s. You know what I mean? They just, everything seems to come back. It almost seems like we get to the point where nothing goes good as far as the actor. You know what I mean? In movies where people are making any money and somebody goes, let's bring back these guys. They made money back then. People want to see it. Look, I mean, I love that movie, Maverick. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. And it was good to see him in 60 years old. You know what I mean? 60 years old, still a good looking guy. And got his teeth fixed. You ever notice he had that one tooth was right below?
Yeah. Yeah. He had braces at one point.
Yeah, but did you notice though he had like when he got his teeth fixed, right below his nose, he had one tooth. I talked to my dentist about it. I went to my dentist and I said, hey, did you ever notice Tom Cruise has like one tooth? He went, you noticed that? And I said, yeah. And he says, well, not anymore. He got his teeth fixed. And I went, really? He goes, yeah, notice. Next thing he knows, he's getting the line for radio.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He presented at the Oscars one year when Nicole Kidman was up for the Moulin Rouge, and she got completely just robbed of that. But anyway, and he had braces. He had the clear Invisalign braces or whatever on.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. His kids said that he needed to get braces. So he said he got braces for his kids.
Okay. I just kind of saw, I was looking at just that pattern of everything come back around again, because I think I don't know if they just can't think of anything to write it, or if it's just the fact that people love the movie so much, they go, we'll bring it back. I guarantee it'll make a buck.
Yeah. Well, it's like, they're remaking The Lost Boys, right?
No.
Yeah, they're remaking The Lost Boys, and I am friends with Corey Haim's sister, Carrie, and I was like, hey, put her in the movie. Like, what a great homage to him.
Yeah.
Please put him in the movie. And they never reached out to her. We tried to start a Twitter campaign and everything. Hey, put Carrie in The Lost Boys, and stuff like that. but it's stuff like, I think they're putting in, I think Corey Feldman's coming back because he does everything, but he, it's just stuff like that. I think number one, it's safe because they know it's going to bring in a fan base. So I think that
Yes.
they know that that's going to have money. I think that they think it's safe because it's been done before and it's tried and true, right? And so, I mean, that's why we have a remake of Night Court right now on
Yeah.
and I was just like, I'm sorry.
And Will
Yeah.
and Grace they did it for like a season, right?
Yeah, they did like an encore season or I don't know. That was, but it's just like, but I get it, but why don't you listen to people? Like there's an actual, like when I was on Kevin Probably Saves the World, right? It was in the same time slot, I'll have you know, as we are for Will Trent, which is known as the death slot.
Oh,
However,
wow.
however, Will Trent has had marketing up the wazoo. We're everywhere. He
Yeah.
was called out to the Good Morning America, the Today Show. He was on Kelly Clarkson. It was on, I mean, it was everywhere. Did they do that for Jason Ritter? No. There's a couple of posters put up around Disney World, and it was just like they didn't find the traction. However, there was a fan base for it because they want wholesome content that they can watch with their children.
It was a great show. I loved it.
TV. Yeah. And so they were like, can we please have a different time slot where this would work? And they were like, maybe. And they gave us a couple of more episodes at the end, and then they canceled us because they said we couldn't find any traction. At the same time, it was also an election year. So we were constantly getting bumped, and it was just so many different things. But why didn't they listen to the people? People wanted to see that show. It was a great show, but it just comes down to so many people who aren't making, I don't know. I just need to be in a place to make decisions, Jerry. That's all there is to it.
Well, the first $1 million I come up with, I'm going to go ahead and fund one of your movies.
Oh my gosh, I will take it too, and I'll make you the producer. The executive producer. You will come out, and you will have the biggest trailer. It'll be so cool.
I just want to get close to the craft table.
Oh,
Skittles and stuff.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, yeah, we've got Crafty on set. We've got Crafty at base camp. I'll make sure that it is right next to your trailer. Boom, done, produced, and I'll make sure that they stock your trailer too. So whatever you need.
So what's in your future, Marty?
I am
besides going to Greece, besides going to Paris and seeing Chuck, Charles over there for me. But what are we looking at down the line? What's your production company, your movie company?
I am brewing. I'm hoping, I'm really kind of excited that this other company is looking at Lifeline, actually. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about working on this series for and Happenings, which is a great book. It's about time travel, and it's time travel in a different way that I've never seen before. That's why I was like really drawn to it. You always hear about, oh, it'll break something in the quantum realm or whatever if two people are in the same place at the same time. Right. Well, that's not it. In this one, this guy keeps telling himself, stop doing this. And he keeps going, trying to fix it. And he just keeps screwing more things up. So he's making all these fractal timelines. And I was like, this is so cool. I really loved it. Because he was his own worst enemy, really.
They're rebooting Quantum Leap.
I know, it's already on film, or they've already dropped it, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going into second season right now.
Oh my! I didn't know where it was.
Really? Maybe it's on Hulu or something. I don't know.
Look.
Yeah. Because I think it's an Asian guy who's in the lead now.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Good for that.
Yeah.
Very woke. So yeah, that would be, I love that Quantum Leap. I love that show. Oh my gosh, I love that show. My favorite one. And they had Jennifer Aniston on it. They had Jennifer Aniston on an episode of Quantum Leap.
Oh wow.
Right after that, Friends came out, and I said, that's the girl from Quantum Leap. And like, she's from Leprechaun, which I had never seen.
I was gonna say I said, let's go for Leprechaun.
Yeah, yeah. Funny. So,
That'd be embarrassing now when they look back.
oh, I bet she just laughs about it now. She's just like, oh, you know, whatever.
Wow.
Maybe
Uh,
I'd love to work with her one day. I hear she's a dream to work with. She's a very nice person, which I love.
that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, Marty, I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up and get this edited and put
Okay.
online. And thank you
Oh,
so much again
oh,
for
I need to say this too, real quick. Sorry. That Wonder Boy is wanting me to do a sequel called The Justice Friends. He wants all of it's turned very big. I will say that. So I am trying to redirect him to have a show, all right, a sequel with just Wonder Boy and Sparrow, since I know the
yeah,
two actors could be in that.
yeah.
So there's that. So I'm just throwing that out there. There might be a Wonder Boy Sparrow mashup. I don't know if we call it Sparrow Boy or Wonder Sparrow. I don't know. I don't know when this was going to be. He'll
That'd be
probably,
awesome. I
yeah,
can't wait for that.
it's like calling it Doom of Justice or something.
And this way, you don't have to have a submarine.
No, no, not yet. But he does have a spacesuit. You know, he got a spacesuit now.
I
So
saw
he's,
that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah. And he told me a couple of weeks ago that this summer or after the second season of Will Trent, I can work on the next super suit, which is his scuba suit. So Scuba Wonder.
Ah,
Yeah. So that's gonna be great. I don't know how I'm supposed to film that, but I want to.
yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, that was my Wonder Boy update. Sorry.
That's
Didn't mean
cool. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I watch Wonder Boy every chance I get. I pull it up on, yeah.
he's
Everybody,
actually we're going to Alabama this Friday so he can go and talk at a school that has been watching the Wonder Boy movie.
no way.
Yeah, he's the school oh God, what is it called? The school assembly
Oh,
for
wow.
kindergartners to second graders. Yeah, they're gonna do it like a little talk show, and
Yeah.
then open it up to Q&A for him and the kids.
Is he
And
gonna
they're
wear
all
his suit?
class A's, excuse me.
Yeah.
He has to, and they're so excited. The little kids are already sending over little letters and things. Oh my God,
That's
it's so
great. That's absolutely wonderful, man. I can't wait for the sequel. I really can't.
gosh. I'm gonna be interested. If you can get your $1 million,
Yeah.
right, executive producer
I'll take it.
there.
All right, Marty. I love you. And
Me
tell
too.
Craig I said hi.
Hey, well,
Wonder Boy kiss for me. Tell the other kids. The Sparrow. And Mike.
Michael, yeah.
Michael. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I was so sad to hear about his dog.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible. That
That
was
was when you said it, that just tore me up.
it
We
was the
had
worst.
just talked about it like a week before.
Yeah.
You know,
It was horrible. I think what made it even more horrible is the fact that this lady pulled over in front of him, slammed on her brakes. He hit the car.
mhm,
Um, he got out, checked on her, came back. I'm on the phone with him at this point because it just automatically dialed me.
right.
And I can hear him and he's telling me he just had a wreck and everything. And he goes, I think Pippin's dying, dies in his arms with me listening, which was, I'm traumatized forever from that because I heard him screaming and crying and trying to resuscitate him and it was awful. And then when I got there, the lady laughed at him that the dog had died. And then when she was leaving, she turns around and she goes, "Have a nice day." Like I was just like, I don't know. I had to pray really hard on that one because I was just
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm about to go into mama mode. And thank God there were cops there. That's all I have to say, because I probably would not have prayed if there were cops there. I might have been like, look here, lady, if you had known how to drive, you don't pull it. And it was, he was coming over to our house because we were leaving to go on vacation.
Yeah.
So it was like 5:30 in the morning. There was nobody else on the road but the two of them. There was no reason for her to get over in that lane and slam on her brakes other than she wanted to get hit, because afterwards, um, she sued, and
Mm,
um, they said, okay, they said, okay, you had $13,000 in injuries, which was just the hotel bill for going and getting checked out. And her company was like, well, you're supposed to you have up to $20,000 to give. So then he got sued for them to pay the rest of the $20,000 or whatever. And they were like, and so he was freaking out, and he's like, what more do I have to give? You took my dog, you took my car, you took everything from me. That was my world, And
yeah,
the company was just like, we'll tell them we're going to court, and then the judge will say, stop being a gold digger, and they'll throw it out. So that's what happened. But it was miserable and horrible, and it was the worst. Not the way we wanted to see Pippin go out at all.
absolutely. Yeah. She was like what, 15 years old, something like that.
Oh, he had him since he was 9 years old, and he was 28. So
Oh my gosh.
he was up there, and he would take him everywhere too. Poor dog couldn't walk, had bad hips. He put him in a stroller, and run around Stone Mountain with him, and he took him everywhere with him. He was a sweet dog, and every time he'd come over, here comes Pippin, roar, roar, roar. We'd have to pick him up outside and pick him up and bring him in. He definitely had a good long life when other people would have probably put him down a long time prior. Yeah. But he was a good dog, and he was a good dog. It's a perfectly good dog.
Well, it broke my heart when I heard about it. It really did.
It was really
Marty. We shall see you next time, and there will be a next time, hopefully.
Yes. Cool. You're the first person of the press that I call about anything. All of the deets. I'll spill the tea.
All right, young lady. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
And man, my